Thanks for stopping by, guys, and welcome back to Scrap Mechanic. Now, in the last tank video I did, I talked about how I was bringing the MBT series of tanks to an end. Now, I'm still doing tank creations and tank-related creations, however the MBT series itself is going to be on a hiatus. So, in kind of a marking point to this, I've been working on some self-propelled guns and anti-tank systems. Today's video, we're going to be looking at this. This is the AT Mark 1.12, also known as the Sparrow. This was loosely based off a real-world Italian tank destroyer. I should have the name and picture up here at some point. I'm not going to try and pronounce that because I know I'm going to mess it up. So let us actually take a look at this. Now, if I remember correctly, this has 54 spud guns propelling the actual round. This is simply because we're using large canisters and they need a lot of spud guns. It's not 100% perfect, but it is good enough for most ranges that you'll engage something. Now, this can serve as an anti-tank vehicle, but it's mostly designed to be a bunker buster, hitting really heavily defended stationary targets. Let's go ahead and hop in it and take a look at it. There's two seats. There is a loader and a driver/gunner. And it's like all my other tanks, standard controls, standard setup. But there are a few differences. One is this is an oscillating turret where the seat is connected to the gun itself. This is okay, but it does cause a lot of issues. One being the cage that is on top of the turret. Since the seat is at an angle, at higher elevations, it will actually throw you out of the seat, out over the back of the vehicle, and is a major issue. That's why this bar is here. It doesn't cause much issues with the smaller seats, however, be careful with that. And another thing is, since the gun is so far back on the vehicle, it's really back heavy. So if I were to go backwards and then hit forwards, I can actually pop wheelies with my self-propelled gun. One last issue, because of the gun's balancing, it isn't exactly the best, so the gun does have a hard time moving, and when moving the bottom, you can really get the gun to act out of the ordinary, so to say. But just as a stationary vehicle with its destructive capabilities, I'm really happy with it. So to kind of show it off, let's go ahead and hit a few targets. Now, I do have a surge sitting over there, which will be a target here in a second. We're going to wait for that. Let's go ahead and load it. There are two red bearings that you can see. There's one, there's the other. Bring your cardboard all the way down. There's two gray bearings at the bottom. That's the full range. And you put it around right here. It should line up. There should only be one place for it to fit. Place it, and there you go. You're loaded. This controls like all of my other tanks. 1 is left, 2 is up, 3 is down, 4 is right, 5 is the main gun, 6 is the machine guns, and these are really fast machine guns. So how about we aim for something? Let's aim for the insignia on the tank over there. Now, the canister itself does fall a little bit short of the spud guns, so we do have to aim just a tad bit higher. Let's get right about there, maybe? Let's bring it down a little bit. I'd say right about there. Ready, aim, fire. Oh, we're a little bit short. And whenever we do fire the round, it does have a significant recoil. So the gun may actually get knocked off course by that. As you probably tell, it's going to be a little bit higher than what we're aiming at. I honestly prefer to do quick bursts to check where my actual aim is rather than leave the machine guns on. I think we're not even hitting the silo anymore. Where's my rounds going? We aim too high? Yeah, we're definitely aimed too high. Too low. And is that just about right? Nope, a little bit higher. This should be it. Aim, fire. And And do we hit it? Do we hit it? A little too high. Oh well, this is kind of what to expect with its aiming at long ranges. It does work, but you're going to have some trial and error there. And like I said, this is mostly built for stationary targets, so you've got time to aim at it. Now, when dealing with closer targets, it's a little bit different story. It's kind of just hit in the general area. You've got a large canister. Any hit near it or on it will do a lot of damage. Now, because these are large canisters, you're not going to have the armor penetration values that you would with the smaller canisters, but there are still some AP qualities to the round. So if we aim right there, we should be hitting the gun and the cheek. Ready, aim, fire! And that hit right into the cheek, and the Surge did survive that hit. The Surge should have all of its ammo inside, so we didn't actually ammo rack it either. Let's see kind of what destruction we can expect. Well, half of the gun is gone. The entire front cheek is gone. There's a chunk out of the chassis as well, but it appears the Surge actually did survive that. Yep. I can aim down, I can aim up. I don't have my aiming machine guns, but I can still fire. Let's turn the other cheek and test the armor once again. So we're back in. Let's grab a piece of cardboard. There we go. Round in. Aim. Aim up a little bit. You know what? Let's hit the chassis. Hit the front chassis. And let's hop back out and see what the damage was. Just a chunk out of the chassis. Now this also kind of demonstrates what I was saying about the armor penetration qualities. You can see this detonated on the very front of the tank. Similar to this did penetrate a little bit into the cheek, but not very much. Most of what you're seeing is the round pretty much exploded right about here. And as you can see, when we actually fired, the round wedged itself in between the turret and the actual chassis. But as you can see here, it didn't even penetrate into the armor. It exploded pretty much right on the front of the tank itself. So it probably exploded right about there, which is right where it would have hit the armor. So overall, I'm happy with it in the sense of it did its job. It launches large canisters really well. But there's a few issues with it. One, the armor penetration qualities. They're not as pronounced as the small canisters. The small canisters are much more deadly in most situations. That and the small canisters are much easier to set up in some sort of auto loader. It's possible with the large canisters, but it gets really big really fast. So if we get one more aiming. And fire. There we go. That time we took out the ammo in the Surge. Now there's a few other little quirks about... Let me grab that. There we go. Yeah, that time it hit the front of the gun and everything died. There's a few little quirks with this that I do enjoy. It is really good at long range. Now, unfortunately, I wouldn't exactly suggest this for any sort of artillery just because of the aiming issues that you're going to have. A lot of times when you fire, like I said, the recoil does mess up the gun aim, so kind of the guess and check style of aiming isn't really going to work. There's no really way to calculate it. You could still use the spud guns, those are an option. However, there is a few other issues. Now, because this does follow the same trajectory as a spud gun, you can't really do indirect fire. It's mostly line of sight firing, because you can't get the round to go up high enough that it falls back down, and the spuds that you're going to be using for aiming disappear after a certain time. So if I aim all the way up, it's still not going to be enough for any sort of indirect fire system, even though we are going to launch this round a really, really long way away. Aim, fire. Now, you could technically hit a target, but not the best situation for it. Maybe something like the self-propelled rocket artillery that I did, where it's a lot of rounds. Maybe that would be a bit better, but Yes. Also, fun thing I'd like to note about this is the recoil itself. Like I said, it can knock the gun off of its positioning, but it's also funny to see this actual tank get thrown. It doesn't get thrown as much as it bounces when you fire. So if I'm watching the suspension, the whole front of the tank gets lifted. Now let me reload once again. And I guess I should also notice the ability to aim with this. So yes, it is supposed to be a stationary gun, and it's not supposed to be something like a normal tank with a fully functioning turret, but you can aim pretty far to your sides. This is something not present in the actual real world version of this gun. It's just kind of something that happened when I was building this oscillating turret. So I can aim pretty darn far. And if I also do the same thing over here and aim to the side, you can see the whole thing rock sideways. Ready, aim, fire. And we cleared that mountain. So at the end of the day, I'm happy. It did its job. It looks cool. It's functional, but it's not the most, most efficient killing machine in my arsenal, unfortunately, even though it is currently the only one to fire the large canisters. So, unfortunately, I am going to have to end the episode here. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. If you enjoy the channel, enjoy what I'm doing, please subscribe. It helps out a lot. And right now, shares help the channel the most. So if you do want to help the channel, please share this episode with a friend. Let me aim up here because I want to fire. So, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for sticking around. And until next time, peace. A little too high.